Hey everybody, welcome back for another Space Engineers video. So we just got done running tests on both War Thunder and Space Engineers for pausing, and it does not seem to be doing anything right now, so hopefully we can start pausing and unpausing in the videos to where you guys don't have to deal with such boring mining or anything. But I'm going to show you some of the stuff that we've done off camera, like expanding the solar array, because we were in desperate need of power. And we moved and expanded or sorry, we didn't really move, we left them over there. We expanded the algae farm because our food production was just terrible. Like, 2 was not being enough to produce pretty much anything. Now, I'm going to show you guys what we got done so far for the hangar. Like I said in the War Thunder video, it's not too terribly much, but, obviously we got the door itself done, which right now we do not have any controls to turn it on and off besides through the ship while it's connected to the grid. And over here is going to be, there's going to be where you walk into the control room for the hangar. Obviously it's mostly just going to be for decorative purposes, but I've done one before when me and my brother were playing together and we were really focusing on aesthetics. And so we got the floor done and we got a part of the wall. Since I'm thinking maybe raising the wall up by like 2 more blocks so that, like, I want to be able to mount the ship and have it to where the bottom is above the level of the door right here. And I've been debating about expanding the door since it's not really that big of an opening. But you would not believe how much resources it took just to get this done. It took a ridiculous amount of steel plates. So at the end of when I was last playing and doing stuff off camera, I kind of just went AFK and was letting stuff produce, and we still only have a little under 6,000 steel plates, and that will go in a finger snap. So, depending on how much power the ship has, I might take it out for another load of iron, because we go through it quick. Oh, and I added some more storage. So, yeah, we do not have a whole lot left. So as long as the ship has enough power, which another thing you guys would have missed off camera is, you guys probably noticed some differences about the front setup here. We were going for mining, and it did not end well. We lost a couple good components, and pretty much had to limp back to base. But this is what I'm saying about the door probably being bigger. If I'm just doing like my fighters that I have blueprints of, it will be fine, but for any ship larger than the fighters, and even this one, you got to go pretty slow coming into the hangar, because if you do not, you won't have much left, and I do not like that is coming in our general area. Those ships are not friendly at all. Like, if I had fighter ships, it still wouldn't be a good thing to have to take on. The only way I would feel good about taking on that is if the base had a lot of artillery and I had a battleship, like the one me and my brother affectionately call the OG. It was the first one that me and him spent time on together building, and we spent a lot of time. I think I've mentioned it in previous video, but between the two of us working together on it, on it when we were playing together, and when we made blueprints of it to work on it on our own, on our pretty much creative maps where we could just design it and whatnot. We probably spent the better part of a week, if not more. And even now, that one ship will always hold that special spot in our hearts, because it is a nice ship. And I might pop into creative and like spawn it for you guys just to show you. I didn't have the blueprints anymore because it was from when I was on my old computer, and when I got the new computer, obviously I didn't have any of the blueprints, so I had to go off of ones that my brother took. So unfortunately I won't be able to show you guys what it had like originally looked like through the process, because I'm paranoid, and I took many blueprints of it throughout the process of us designing it, and it is a nice one. Especially because at the time we didn't have a lot of the quality of life mods that we play with now, and designing it took a lot of time. Especially because when we were building it, the Space Pirate faction had captured a outpost maybe 10-11 kilometers from where me and him had started our base, and it was like every 5 to 10 minutes they were sending waves of small ships after us that they had captured from the Space Police faction. But it got to the point where pretty much, like, if you were to look down there, imagine it being nothing but craters, like hundreds of craters. You would think that it was from back when the meteor showers were actually doing damage, because they were at the time, but it was just from the staggering amount of ships that kept coming after us. And this is what I'm talking about. We have 6 upward thrusters, and with the weight we have, we are going down. We have to be careful about it. Let's get us away from the cliff wall. I think adding on a thruster on each side would be beneficial. I'm not surprised, because this thing, obviously was never meant for mining or pretty much anything, since it was just a wandering trader from one of the factions. But for one that we stole, it is served us quite well. If you hear that noise, my dog is chewing on his paw. I'm assuming he is doing it to try to clean his claws, but the constant clicking of him biting it was getting a little annoying. I hope that part's not coming through for you guys. But we got this quick little setup out of necessity for the charging and offloading, as you guys saw in the previous video. Oops, wrong button. But that'll be a decent amount of iron. I gotta check our ice supply to try to get the batteries. We might have to go out for some ice. Try to get the batteries recharged. Even that solar panel array right there is nowhere near enough, even with the addition of the wind turbines. So we slapped on a couple hydrogen engines. These are the sci-fi ones, a newer item. But even with that, everything we're doing, these batteries are still going to be like 2 hours away, it looks like. And we have a different ice site, because I couldn't find the original one. So we spent a good long while flying around to find that one. See, if we were building right now, we would already be completely out of steel plates. I completely forgot that didn't have a panel there anymore. Really don't want to, but I think I'm gonna just saw a straight line through right here and place the thruster there. With all the damage I've done to this thing, it's it doesn't look as nice as it used to. Ion. Hopefully the addition of these two ones will go a long ways to keeping us from crashing again. Because that's what had happened before. We weren't even fully loaded. And we were going to get iron. That. And looks like the script did its job and offloaded us. Because I should include these in the group. Yeah, I probably should not leave before they're done. That would be a little counterproductive. What are we missing? Motors. See, in that, you saw how it just instantly snapped over in the production queue? It's because, don't know if I did that one on cam. I put down another programmable block and set the inventory managing script to go, which is another one you can find in the Steam Workshop. Oh, you can probably find quite a few different ones, but let me go back up and quickly show you the one that we use. Yeah, it's Izzy's Inventory Manager. And combine that with the build and repair bots. Anytime that you need a specific item, like this one. Oh, it's 110 each. Whoops. The inventory manager will kick it into production. So like, even if we had, as you saw, that one just going, it didn't matter because the inventory manager and the bots worked together to pretty much push what was needed to the front of the queue. No Reaper. He's mad because I took him off my lap. He wouldn't stop trying to clean. I believe I put that in my own way. That one's almost there, and that one is there. Once we get a good stockpile for the plates up and going, I can start, doing the outline of the hangar again. Does that look? Yeah, kind of like that. But once we have the good stockpile for plates, we'll move to, the interior plates and stuff like the motors and everything. Pretty much just everything we'll need for doing conveyor junctions. But I wanted to get the rough outline done, at least for the sides, because I really don't want to accidentally mine a hole through the side of the hangar. It wouldn't be the worst, because we could just, add like hangar doors or put heavy armor on it if we just wanted to block it off, but once we get a little bit deeper in, we can start expanding sideways, but as it goes right now, I went into spectator mode and went into the cliff side from inside of it, and to the left we could probably expand it maybe 5-6 blocks, but I don't think it's worth it to do it on the thin part. It's not really any closer than that magnesium one, but it is, when I was flying around, it is the only spot that I found ice. Which is annoying, because I know I had found a little node on the surface that had ice, but I cannot remember, and I honestly don't know if I was recording or not when I had found that node, so unless I feel like going back through my videos and rewatching pretty much everything just to find that specific node. Did I break through on the magnesium as well? I did. Huh. That's what I hate about the ice veins, is they're just thin. That's why I was really hoping to find an ice lake, because even if I had to travel a little farther for the ice lake, it would still be worth it. Just for the simple fact of I wouldn't have to do these tiny little strips, because you get so much stone along with it, and it is honestly tedious. Especially once I get like large hydrogen tanks going, or a ship that is entirely powered by hydrogen. Huh. That shuttle's coming straight towards us. Let's get a little bit of ice and beat feet. This one sucks because I can't really get too close to do the right clicking to take a bunch out, because I would end up taking out the ice with how thin it is. I really hope that shuttle does not have weapons. We'll have to deal with that. When I was off camera, I was purging stone and then getting more ice, but if you're wondering why I'm nosing down while I'm doing this, I am using the upward thrusters to get me out of there quicker. And because I do not want that thing, hopefully it will not just follow me, we are going to do a little bit of a roundabout way to home. Seems like I'm pulling away from it. Okay, good. I would really hate to have this thing get shot down when it's completely full of ice. I mean, I'd hate to have it shot down, period, but especially if I'm hauling a bunch. Now, I'm gonna laugh if I am just flying around, going back to base, and I find that damn ice node. The addition of those two thrusters really seemed to help a lot. Let's just go down. Yeah. I know we're not as loaded down as we were last time, but clearance from the ground station. Means that there's one kind of over in that direction, and there's one over there for a different faction. Now, I did fly up on my spacesuit, and that peak is actually partially out of the atmosphere of the planet. If I had been able to get up there and it had at least just iron by it, that would have been an interesting spot to do the base. Definitely would have been a killer view. Now see, you can see the solar panels moving. For any of you that haven't watched the previous video, there is a script that I got from the Steam Workshop, and with the combination of a rotor and a hinge, along with obviously the solar panels, you can have it track the sun, and pretty much it'll just, like a real life one would, it tries to keep the panels in the best position as well as it can. Yeah, I definitely think I'm gonna widen that door a little bit. Unless I end up making another hangar farther down for bigger ships, because who knows, it might be a good idea. But I'll show you guys what I did myself to see the thickness. You go over and you can just go to Entity List and Distance from Player, and I just did characters since it was easy. So obviously that's me, and the wall for the hangar, you go through and you can see, especially if we were to maintain the height, we would punch through very quickly. And especially on the right side though, it is not very thick. And part of why I like it being sunk down in is because that'll help when we eventually get attacked, because it's gonna happen. But that is why I am trying to go deeper. Now, to give you guys something different, actually, let me put that door back up first. I am going to turn on the creative mode for a second. I want to do this away from the base, just in case the bots, for some reason, try to freak out. There we go. So, enable creative. Whoops. Is this the right one? There we go. Now this is a much later version of it. Thankfully, changing the time of day doesn't really do much. I want you guys to be able to see it better. Also, change its paint to a lighter color. Now, this version of the OG was after we left Mars, but pretty much the only thing that was really changed was the addition of these ion thrusts here, and I think it was, yeah, all these ion that are on the bottom, and originally I only had 2 of these hydrogen thrusts for going up, just like this wasn't originally all encased. Originally it was these just sticking out, and it was kind of a flat point going to here, and pretty much all these large ion thrusters that you see were added later. So if you can imagine it being just all of the hydrogen thrusters, then that... Jesus. Oh yeah, that was one of the robot raider drop pods I was talking about. I'll show you guys. Is this before or after I did the door? Oh wait, no, this was my brother's version of the ship, so no door up there. So part of it later we did break apart, but like, you know, the little med bay here. This was a secondary control in case the bridge got screwed. Yeah, we had a lot of gyros. This must have been one of his from when we were testing it against each other. Because my ship had a lot, so to try to keep up, he quickly slapped on a bunch. But this is the bridge, obviously. My version had a door on either side back here, so that I could go out quickly to do repairs, like on the missile turrets and everything. Little projector, because with the bots on, you could project the blueprint at any time it was damaged. So the hangars, you know, they couldn't really hold too terribly much, but we had one on each side. But this one was kind of a weird one. I think this was when he was testing stuff. But on my version, I had, by the time we had ended, I expanded the hangars, and there was a 3-ramp step down into here. And none of these ones over here existed. It was just the hydrogen right here, and then you'd go to the cargo, and then it was the plethora of reactors. On mine, we had a couple more jump drives, but this version's only all of the O2 generators were crammed down here, and then down here... Yeah, this is definitely a in-between one when he was tweaking it, because we had a line of jump drives and gyros. And thankfully, since the ions don't have that much of a cone, we were able to put some internal ones on the underbelly.
Fuel low.
But that was pretty much the gist of the OG. Like I said, this one was a pretty heavily modified version of it. And originally when we left, we almost actually just had it be a flat bottom right here, but I had the idea to kind of get it to match what the top was. Now the tip of this was more like how mine was. It had all these point and shoot, but I had a couple more rail guns on the front, because mine had even more reactors than what this one does. So I was able to power the rail guns more. That shooting you are hearing is from the robot raiders. Because every time those pods come down, a couple of the robots get out. Does supply transport? It does. We get landed so I can actually get more hydrogen, but on camera, I am turning off the admin tools. And I promise I do not use that off cam for anything besides like the spectator camera when I was going through the hillside to see how thick it was. I knew I wasn't going to go through, but yeah, we have a bunch of blueprints of... I'm very blueprint happy, as my brother would say. I like to make them throughout the process of everything to make sure that nothing's lost, like if the game crashes or whatnot, but... Oh, I gotta get back on and show you guys that one. that one, if I saw that screenshot right, was mine towards the very end of when we were going. It's 2.0. There we go. Jesus. Well, I guess any of those robots in the area are dead. This was the version of it by the time we were pretty much at the end of the game. And mine always has a lot more thrusters than my brother's and everything, because I usually was the one carrying all the cargo. And that was just a temporary one. As you saw, expanded the hangar. I'm gonna repaint that. Whoops. That's not what I meant to do. That is what I meant to do. Make it a little bit easier to look at. So as you can see, I widened pretty much everything to be able to include more rows of guns. And mind you, this is all, we are doing all this without any shield mods or anything. So like I had a nice med bay with, a bunch of cryopods, actual med bay, a nice little room, which, bathrooms and everything. One of the mods we have is like LCD movies, and it was Looney Tunes on. And fair warning, gyros weigh a lot. So, well, if you go happy with them like my ship is, it'll weigh a considerable amount. Yeah, 17 million. Here it is. This is what I changed my hangar to. Nice little sunk down version of it. So at this point in version of the ship, we had went from the Earth-like planet to Mars, all the way over to the alien planet. And so when you're at the alien planet, at the time, it had the highest amount of gravity. Now Pertam does. So you needed a lot of thrusters, especially once the ship got even heavier. As you see, we had like 3 rows of the reactors and a buttload of O2 generators. Then we had a bunch of build and repair bots down here in the belly. And then this is where we had the stuff like the refiners, assemblers, or I should say because this was my version of the ship. We had a lot of jump drives. And all the fans were because once we got into anywhere that had a actual atmosphere, or air, I should say, not just atmosphere, I didn't want to waste any ice on producing air, so I would turn them all on to suck from the area and just fill up all the tanks. I honestly do not remember why I had an antenna down in here. But, see, this is where we had the doors to come out, because there was countless times where something up here would get damaged, and, it would take forever to run all the way back down there, so had the nice little door right there. I really don't remember why we had all the antennas and beacons. As you see, even with all the gyros, it still takes a little bit to turn, but like compared to my brother's versions or his bigger ships, mine could turn on a dime. So you had all these turrets and everything, and then you had all those guns on the nose. So I think I had a camera set up. Yeah. So this is what it looked like when you would shoot with just the guns. It was a very thick swarm. Obviously, we don't have as many rail guns, but still deal a good amount of damage. And then you see, won't even take a minute for it to recharge with all the batteries and the reactors that we had. But that is the extremely heavy modified version of the OG. Like I said, that was pretty much what we had when we were completely done with everything. But we will see how much steel plates were made. Because I do want to show you guys the progress of me building the hangar, and I kind of want to have the resources stockpiled for that. And I definitely want to build a nice little control room to overlook it. Because once we get that done, that is when we will start to be able to really start designing the base. Because we'll be able to make like the tunnels going off of the hangar and everything. We could really use some bigger batteries too. See, all of that, we're pretty much like breaking even. So let's see, how much plate do we have put up now? See, all of that time, you guys saw it was, a little under like 6,000 before we started all this, and it's slow to build up. That's why normally I will plop down like 3 or 4 assemblers to try to get everything done quicker. But at the time, I definitely did not have the resources. I mean, I haven't even set up a better refiner yet. That would help get us the better tools and everything. But, at least getting this done, the rough outline of the hangar. Because I'm thinking that ends about right there. If it's, I'm thinking maybe hollow out a little bit more to put in maybe 3 or 4 more blocks, just to give it a little bit more room. And I think for now we'll leave the back just open, but we'll do the sides. One last thing I'll show you guys before ending this one. The fighters that I mentioned on a previous video. Okay, that should be well out of the range. Keep hitting the wrong one. This one? That one was a failed one. It was good for what it was built for, just to be a little quick print up one. Yeah, this is my brother's version of it. He's the one that did all the base design on it. But actually, I must have tweaked this one a bit for the thruster flames to be colored. But it's just a nice little one, couple guns in it. Yeah, I think I modified this one slightly. But it's a nice little, just a little fighter. Just a couple point shoot. At the time when we had built this, we were still trying to play with shields. The shield mod, I should say. But I think it was just getting corrupted or whatnot, because it was not going well. Ah, see, that's one of my modded versions of it. Yeah, that's the later version. I managed a little sloppy, but at the time I was literally using pistons and magnetic plates to pull the thrusters off because I didn't want to waste it. And then I had the blueprint build this and I reattached them. So it got a little bit better, but I think there was one more version of it. Because by the time I got done, I had kind of, in my opinion, perfected it. And I had an entire hangar built with like 4 or 5 of them. And that one just kind of looks the same, just more painted and everything. Ah, that's what it was. I tweaked that even more. This was the end result that I had had. This is the one that I ended up making duplicates of in my hangar. It handles really well. Obviously, it is a hydrogen fighter, so you had to make room for the tanks, but so that's just with a couple of the guns that are on the front. Then you have like the bigger ones. Then you have the railgun. Which, point blank range, I missed. But those are a couple of the fighters that I might bring back. Get rid of any of that little debris. Oh, that's way away from us. Just trying to make sure that there was no supplies just laying down there. I think that's the base. We'll get back over there, name the base so we don't accidentally delete it, because trust me, that sucks when it happens. I speak from experience. Yeah. Should that stuck? It did. So, I know today was just kind of a mining trips and then explaining some things and then showing you guys a couple of the blueprints from before, but I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will try to get the 2 War Thunder videos I recorded and this one uploaded. I will start uploading of the War Thunder tonight, and then hopefully in the morning I'll be able to finish it for you guys and try to make up for the fact that it was like 2 days between. I know sometimes there's going to be gaps, but I will usually try to warn you guys in advance if there's going to be a gap. But anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.